Okay, well, thank you so much, Dina, for joining me here today. I'm so excited to chat with you. I've heard some amazing things about what you're doing at Beachway. And just to kind of fill everybody in, my name is Beth Pensavine, and I am the lucky gal that gets to interview Dina today about what she's doing at Beachway and specifically what she's doing with the family groups at Beachway. She has been with us for over 5 years, and she is really specifically looking at how she can help our clients as well as help their families. So first, Dina, just tell us a little bit about yourself. What's your background?
Okay, well, thank you so much for having me first. Thank you. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist, and I've been in the field for over 20 years. Started out in education as a teacher and slowly transitioned into therapy and began to focus on families. So here I am.
I love that because really it is not just the client, it's the whole
Yeah.
unit, right? It's the whole family unit. So, what makes your family group so unique?
Well, I thought a lot about this. Most centers, if they touch family work at all, do like a family weekend in and out during the treatment episode. And what we've created at Beachway is a weekly Zoom family active participation group that coincides with the treatment episode. So the piece that's really unique is I'm also a group facilitator at Beachway. So I'm hands-on with the clients of these family members. So I have a lot of inside intel, which really helps with the group process. Not to mention that clinically, we're constantly discussing cases, which brings a lot of value to the group. It's really interactive.
I love that because it really is about not just what happens on that one day, but what's happening the whole time. So you
Mhm.
really have like the finger on the pulse to be able to help them and keep their family involved. I mean, I think that's so special.
We get a lot of real-time like data, if you will, especially
Mhm.
even during the groups, because clients will call home during the group time and families will log off, take the call and come back and be able to process what just happened. It's really, really valuable.
I love that. And that you're able to kind of walk them through that whole process is so
Mhm.
great. So tell me a little bit about this parallel process that you teach about.
So the parallel process is probably one of the most unique qualities of the teaching that we do, especially around the family issues. So I highlight the criteria for addiction and teach the families how their process mirrors it. For example, when the client is drinking and drugging, they're mentally obsessed and preoccupied with using. And on the other side, the family member becomes mentally obsessed and preoccupied with their loved one. And so while the client needs to detox off of drinking and drugging, the family member needs to detox off of actually their loved one. And we talk about how it just mirrors. So your loved one needs a year of healing, and so do you. And what does that look like? A lot of times, family members send their loved one to treatment to get cured, to get fixed, and to get all better. And we're of the opinion that this is a systemic disease, and each member needs to take a look at what's been going on. So it's definitely a parallel process.
I love that you actually think about that because really, I think it's almost a little old school to think that it's just that one piece of the
Mhm.
puzzle. It's really looking at the whole puzzle to see how it's going to work, fit together, especially when they leave to go back to their life. It's important that
Absolutely.
everybody's on the same page and that everybody's had their chance to kind of speak their mind and share what
Yeah.
they're feeling.
What we know statistically is when a family participates, it increases the likelihood that the loved one will do something different. The loved one in treatment will do something different. It creates a space for something to shift. So it's really, really powerful.
And I love that Beachway has really thought that through. I feel like we're on the cutting edge with that. So I think what you're doing is so important, and I really appreciate you sharing that. When you say it's important to rock the boat, how is that helpful to the process? Because you were mentioning that to me earlier.
So this is something I do in every Zoom group. I illustrate this and I explain that this is how they see their loved one walking around, not literally, right? But with a loaded
Mhm.
pistol. And
Mhm.
they're scared. They're afraid to rock the boat. They're afraid to say the truth. They're afraid to be honest about how they feel. They're walking on eggshells in their own home. It's a really scary process. And the importance of rocking the boat is because addiction loves secrecy. It loves to hold the system hostage. It loves to triangulate people within the system. And when we can shatter that, change can occur. So often at Beachway, we're modeling for the families how to rock the boat. We're not afraid. We're not afraid if the client pulls the trigger. And what does that look like? They could get angry. They could want to leave treatment. They could want to give us the silent treatment. They might want to bang walls, slam doors. We're not afraid of that. So it's really, really important to rock the boat.
I mean, I just got chills because just thinking about that, I mean, sometimes you would tiptoe around certain people, but what good does that do anybody, right?
It
So
doesn't.
the fact that you have to have just a calm but strong position, I think is so important. And I love that you handle that as well.
I mean, rocking the boat also means they have to have an action plan, right? And they have to be clear about what their boundaries are moving forward. And we talk a lot about vitamin N, which is the word no. And so it's really important. Addicts in live addiction doesn't like no, not yet, wait a minute, it's not okay with me. That type of conversation is what we're trying to create here.
Yeah, and they need to hear it more while they're there. So when they go out into the
Absolutely.
real world, it's not a shock to their system, right?
Mhm. Yep.
So smart. What advice would you give to a family member ready to step outside of the comfort zone?
I say pick something small. Don't go for like the big thing that you know you need to do, right? So if you've been afraid, the reasons we stay in our comfort zone is that we think it's safe there. We think we're in control. We like to be right about our beliefs and our story and our opinions inside the comfort zone. And often, if I come out of my comfort zone, it's ugly and it gets messy. And I like to keep everything looking like a well put together package. So I say the relief you're looking for is outside the comfort zone, but you don't have to pick the hardest thing that you know you need to do. Just start small, because even a small shift outside the comfort zone could create a tsunami in the family system,
Mm.
and will begin to ripple out, and we'll see change. It's
Could you
really
give me
like magical.
yeah, could you give me an example of that, of something small? I would love to hear an
Well,
example.
well, even just using the word no, right?
Mhm,
Because a lot of times a family member will say, I'm not strong enough to say you can't, like that you have to be homeless, or
mhm,
I'm not strong enough to say you can't live with me. Those are big boundaries. Those
mm,
are really outside the box. But start small. Maybe I'm not willing to give you money for cigarettes while you're in treatment. Maybe I don't
mm.
want to talk to you for a week or two while you're in treatment, so I can take a breath and begin to work on me. Just small shifts. And every system is different. So it's really important for the individual family members to think about what would be that first little step outside the comfort zone.
I love that. I love that you help them brainstorm that too, because sometimes it's about really sitting down and having somebody walk through it and brainstorm with you a little
Mhm.
bit to help you get to that end result that you need. So,
Yeah.
is there anything else that you wanted to add? I know this is such a special program at Beachway. I know this is something that we really take pride in, that we have, that a lot of other treatment centers don't. So, I would just love to know if there's anything else that you'd like to add.
Um, I think it's so important for family participation, for family members to really take a look at their own mental health and well-being. Self-care is so important. We are taking care of the clients so well at Beachway. It's mind, body, and spirit. And so while their loved ones are getting all of that care, they deserve it too. You know, one
Mm,
of the things I tell the family member is, if the ship is sinking, whether or not your loved one decides to get in the boat, you deserve a seat. And so,
mm.
like, save yourself, preserve yourself, take care of your wellness.
That is
And
so powerful. I love that.
yeah, and they don't have to do it alone. They've hired a great team and we're ready. So
It's like almost like
awesome.
when you're on the airplane, they say like put your oxygen mask
That's
on
right.
yourself first before you put it on your kid. It's the same
Mhm.
thing, right? You have to be mentally prepared and take care of
Yeah.
yourself before you can help your loved one. I think
Yep.
that's so smart.
And we're
So Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, and we're modeling for families how to be honest and how to be direct and how to challenge, and how to take care of yourself. So it's really important.
Oh my gosh, I think it's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, if anybody wants to learn more about this, please contact Dina directly. This is her email. It's Dina.s, like in Sam, Dina.s@beachway.com. You can go ahead and email her if you want to learn more about the family group and why it's so unique.
Mhm.
And thank you so much for taking these few minutes to chat with me about it. I
Of
think it's so
course.
important that everybody knows how special this is. So I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right.